Andrew McCart, IFL TV in association with MTK Global. I'm here in the Nottingham Forest City Ground. With me I've got Eddie Hearn. Firstly, Eddie, how was Vegas?
Yeah, it was good. I see your man's, binned it off today. Didn't have the energy.
290-mile drive south.
Really? Oh, well done, well done.
So, you enjoy it?
Yeah, it was good. It was good. Obviously, we didn't get the result we wanted, but it was a great fight, close fight. John Ryder was a big high moment for us.
I've seen the fight, yeah.
Espino got a good win as well, so it was a good trip. Learned a lot, obviously being involved with a massive promotion as well. Fight of the year so far, so yeah, it was good. And I'm looking forward to seeing Danny Jacobs move up to 168 now. Yeah, I think he was boxing at 165 or whatever it was in the amateurs, and that was when he was like 18. And I've noticed lately that every fight has got tougher and tougher, and that the fighters never really let you, the promoter, know how bad it is. But obviously, you can they do a good job in keeping it from you a lot of the time. You know what I mean? Like, you might say to them the night before, "How's your weight?" And they'll go, "Yeah, it's all good." Kell Brook was always a good one for that. "Yeah, just got a couple of pounds to go." But with Danny, the Derevenchenko fight was tough, but this one, when he turned up to the weigh-in, it was one of those, where you look at him and go,
I've seen that. You did look
tough,
quite right, yeah.
And obviously the £10 thing the next day was just impossible for him, because it was so hard to make the weight. And it's like, the harder it is to make the weight, the more weight you put on the overnight and the next day. So I think he's going to be really effective at 168. I just feel like he doesn't quite have the snap in his shots that he will do at 168. I think he's done all he can at middleweight. He's a two-time world champion. He's been in the biggest fight available in the division. So I think he's going to be a great addition to 168.
It's not like he's moving up to an easier division. It's another stacked division.
No, I mean, it's not quite as glamorous at the moment because of obviously the DAZN money coming in with Canelo and Triple G and Andrade and etc. etc. But you've got Callum Smith, you've got Gilberto Ramirez if he stays there.
He might have Canelo.
Yeah, maybe. I think he'll move there eventually, Canelo. I'd love to see that fight at 168. But it's not really just about what fights there. It's about where he can perform the best. And I think he will be a different fighter at 168, because that extra £8 will be massive for him.
Yeah.
Massive. It's a lot of weight, when you're stripping it off trying to get down. And he's a huge guy.
Before we talk about the show, Next Gen show on Friday night, I've got to talk about a couple of tweets you sent out last night, a couple of breaking news stories. We'll start off with Usyk.
Yeah, disappointing, gutted. I mean, it's like someone said, the replies to my tweet was like, "Mate, it's not going very well for you at the moment. all you get is bad news." I know, but it's like, I'm a bit sick like that, because when I get loads of bad news, I get really excited that we're about to hit a really hot spell. Do you know what I mean? Some people look at it and go, "Oh," and I'm like, "Okay, how much more you got for me?" Do you know what I mean? Because sooner or later,
that's a good way to look at life.
It is, but you can't. There's no point in. I mean, like when we got the Miller news, it was like that was a massive kick in the nuts, and then obviously the Usyk news last night was another big kick in the nuts. 2 days before. But what can you do? I mean, you actually got to just smile and laugh and say, "I can't fucking believe it."
But it's a fight for them, not.
Yeah, I know, but you just got to say to yourself, "Well, it's going to get better," And I always look at it like that. Bad news comes in threes. I think we've had about 8 bits of bad news now, but now I'm just thinking, soon something good's going to happen. That's just the way I look at things when you get bad news. I think you get bad news and you get good news. So we're due a hot spell. He tore his bicep. He's not having an operation. So I think I think it's going to be sort of August, something like that. I think it's 5 weeks till he can start training again. So I don't know how it happened or why it happened. Obviously he's moving up. He's doing more heavy duty stuff now. He's sparring much bigger, heavier guys. I don't know whether it was lifting or sparring. Probably, heavy duty sparring with big guys. So it's a shame, because I was looking forward to that, and now we've got to decide what we do with that show.
I was going to ask.
I want to keep the show going because it's got a lot of important fights on there for us. Devin Haney now, particularly, Michael Hunter, Hrgovic. There's a women's unification on the card as well. So I'll probably move it to Vegas and let Devin Haney headline in his hometown.
Wow.
Just do a smaller show, and get everybody out and fulfil our obligations. Not ideal, but that's it. And I guess the other bit of news you're talking about is Luke Campbell and Vasyl Lomachenko. Sort of mixed emotions on that, really. I mean, good news is it's a really good fight, and I really feel that I got some stick that I said I believe he can win, because I really feel that Luke is one of the few people in the division that can really cause Lomachenko some problems. He's incredibly tall, he's rangy, he's big at the weight, he's a fantastic technical fighter, skilled fighter. He knows Lomachenko inside out from the amateurs. They're both Olympic gold medalists. It is a really good fight. The downside with it, in my opinion, is that it was the wrong decision from the WBC, because I saw like Ron Lewis tweeted today saying, I don't know all this stick the WBC are getting, all they're doing is putting the best fighter in the world in with the mandatory challenges. But what about all the other people that have been working up, not just Devin Haney, but Abdullayev, who's number 2. I'm not saying that, I'm not sulking because Devin Haney didn't get the shot. I'm just saying that the whole point in working your way up a governing body, challenging for defending for minor titles, paying sanction fees, being loyal to one governing body, is that when a title frees up, it goes down the rankings and you get your shot. So if I'm Abdullayev and I've won the silver title and I've defended it a couple of times, I'm thinking this is great because Mikey Garcia's vacated. It's Luke Campbell v me. That's the rules of the WBC. The first 2 available fighters. What's worse than that is that another rule of the WBC is if there's a vacant title, the winner must fight 2 mandatories. Well, now they've done this semi-final elimination thing between Haney and Abdullayev, which was an eliminator that was already ordered, and now Fortuna against Teofimo Lopez, who's actually taking another fight anyway. But where's Fortuna come from? Like, it should just be Haney v Abdullayev for the mandatory. But so it's a mess, to be honest.
I've seen Teofimo Lopez's tweet today. Says
well, he's pissed off because he was told that he'd be getting Richard Comey. Now they're saying that Beltran's fighting Richard Comey, and he also wanted to fight Lomachenko. So I think Teofimo Lopez is saying, well, I've been told that I was going to get Lomachenko or Comey, and it looks like I'm getting none of them. So
it's a crazy spot.
I completely understand why the WBC have done it, because they want Lomachenko as their champion. It's like, I understand that, but I just don't think it's fair for the others. But sometimes it should be on the other foot, and one day, if the heavyweight WBC championship come available, I'm sure they'd allow Joshua to fight the mandatory for that title. But would they allow Richard Comey to fight for the vacant WBC world title against Luke Campbell? Absolutely not. So, I guess it spins in roundabouts. I just felt that they should go down the rankings, really. I mean, what has Lomachenko done? I say, what has he done to deserve a WBC shot? But he's just won a couple of other and then just strolled straight in. It won't be ranked because you're not ranked if you're a champion with another governing body. But
I want to get slotted on Twitter for this, but I've got to ask: is Campbell Lomachenko pay-per-view?
Yes. If in the UK, it has to be.
It's in the UK?
Well, no, it's only pay-per-view if it's in the UK, and it has to be. The fight's going to cost a couple of £1 million more, 3 million quid, 4 million. You can't do it if it ain't on pay-per-view. It needs to have a really, really good card. But I also think it's a really good fight. I think Luke Campbell's in the form of his life. I think Shane McGuigan's done a great job, and we're coming to win that fight. It's not, and again in the UK especially, we're coming to win that fight. And it's a really tough fight. And Lomachenko is pound for pound top 3 or 1, but that's not a fight that Luke Campbell is taking for money. That's a fight that Luke Campbell is coming to win. So, the big decision for us is if it is in England, we have a situation where, again, this is another part of the order, is what's the split? Well, there can only be one split. It's 50-50. You can't have a guy come in and have a champion split as if he's WBC champion. It has to be 50-50. So the problem I have now is probably DAZN saying to me, well, we'd like that fight in the US, so let's bid for that fight in purse bids. Where me saying, I'd quite like it in the UK. I'd love to bring Lomachenko to the UK, and I think Luke's got a better chance in the UK.
He wants to come as well, Lomachenko.
He does. So providing we can make a sensible deal, we'll do that fight in the UK. But again, the split's going to be interesting on that. So, but it would need a really big card. to be pay-per-view, and we have to decide whether we go O2 or Hull, the KC Stadium. I mean, we do 30,000 there at the KC Stadium. I don't think Lomachenko would be. I don't think he knows where Hull is, but I don't think he's that bothered about where we'd go. But it's a really good fight, and I want it for August. End of August.
So, well, if it's going to be in the KC, I think a summertime show would be
thing.
Well, okay, let's talk about the Next Gen show then. This Friday night, a good card. I looked at the card up and down.
I mean, these shows are really important. I mean, we get a stick whatever we do. Do you know what I mean? But what we're trying to do is we're trying to bring fighters through, give them exposure, give them the championship experience of headlining cards or being right up there on the bill, where ultimately they wouldn't normally. So guys like Lee Wood, guys like Jordan Gill, they're headlining or co-main event, and on a big show or a big pay-per-view show, they might be on at 6-7 o'clock. Without that sort of real feel of pressure. So it's all about moulding these guys. And the one thing I'm learning about doing all these shows all around the world is there's a lot of talent out there, like a lot. I mean, obviously, boxing's booming in the UK, but America is a huge country with so much talent, not just Americans, but fighters coming out of the Eastern European bloc. So our guys, they've got to be super good, super good. And this card, you're seeing 2 pro debuts, Dalton Smith and Charles Frankham, 2 outstanding amateurs that start their journey. Raymond Ford was one of the top amateurs in the US.
Because you said about Jordan Gill and Lee Wood coming in headlining the shows, but it's a good opportunity for the US matchroom fighters to not just fight in the US, but to come across the UK and sample the UK fans.
It is, and also the UK fans are so passionate. Like I can't tell you, every US fighter I've got goes, you wouldn't believe the love I get from the UK.
I've seen Devin Haney.
Devin Haney, Ray Ford, especially Anthony Sims Jr. obviously. But everyone that we're signing from the US, obviously, we're bringing some UK fight fans to their journey, and they're loving it. Like Ray Ford's here, he's out of Camden, New Jersey. I mean, it's a pretty rough place. Like he's here, and he can't believe that he's getting the opportunity to fight in the UK. Just like one of our young kids would feel that way if we took him to America. So, Jordan Gill is coming through as one of those guys. The whole point of Next Gen is to basically graduate to the big Saturday night fight nights. And I think Jordan Gill is one of those guys that a good win on Saturday, and you can start talking about him headlining in the new season from September in a big fight, European title fight, world title eliminator, that kind of thing. He's looking like an outstanding prospect. Lee Wood's a really good story. Lee Wood has been a talent for a long, long time. Always had huge support in Nottingham, and now has the Commonwealth title. Good fight against Ryan Doyle, who's sort of been, I say a gatekeeper, but beat Reece Bellotti, stopped him, and then lost to Jordan Gill himself in a good fight. So that's going to tell us where Lee Wood's at. And it's good to be back in Nottingham, because we haven't been here for, I think, 6 or 7 years since Frotch. Frotch will be there on Friday, of course, and he'll tell us about the last time he was there. But Wood has a chance to do something in Nottingham. I mean, we should have come here. With Frotch. I mean, I was actually looking around thinking how gutted I was that we never came here, because we talked about it a lot with Kessler and fights like that.
What does it hold then?
I think it's about,
because you have ground seats
sort of 30,000, something like that, but or sort of high 20,000s, but then you'd have the pitch as well. But Lee Wood's got there's no marquee fighters in Nottingham, and Lee Wood has got massive support, and he has a chance to actually do something in Nottingham with a good win, and it's a good domestic fight. Elsewhere on the bill, you've got Fabio Wardley, who's a really good emerging heavyweight coming through. You've got Chris Billham-Smith, who's warming up for a great fight with Richard Riakporhe. Who else? We've got Terry Harper, who's coming through as one of the top female fighters
in the lightweight division.
Exactly. She's looking at all those kind of fights. Who else we got? We have got Stephen Smith, who's on the card.
It's a comeback
fight. He's not quite next gen. He's not quite next gen.
It looks like he's got a baby face.
We needed to get him out, because I'm trying to do Stephen Smith against Martin J. Ward, and we'll look to do that in the summer, probably in July. So I'm sure we've missed someone out, but it's a good card. It's Friday night boxing, and again, it's just a chance to just bring these fighters through to the main big slots on Saturday Night Fight Night, and both these guys can do it.
Good stuff. Well, I've got to pick up something that intrigued me when you were out in Vegas at the press conference. You said that you'd love to do a card, Golden Boy versus Matchroom Boxing. How serious can that happen?
Really serious, because look, we're both in the same boat in that we're with DAZN, right, in the US, and in America no one really trusts anyone. So, but we're on the same team, but it's still taken a few months for them to actually realise we're really straight. Yeah, like we don't. We're not here to pull strings. Like, so at first, like, great to be working together. And now it's like we did a great job together on Jacobs Canelo, and we look at our fighters and what we can do together, and there's so much that we can do. And obviously, Oscar De La Hoya is a major name and face. So I like the idea of going up against him. We're all very competitive. So, you know, you've got Matchroom, and then you've got Oscar, and you've got Bernard Hopkins and people like that. So, but when you start stripping it down and looking at the fights, I mean, it's endless. You know, Jamie Munguia against Jesse Vargas is a fight that we want to make. Jojo Diaz against Tevin Farmer, our guy. Ray Vargas against Danny Roman. That's a 3-belt unification fight.
Jordan Gill just put one out for you.
Yeah, who's that?
The Che, I forgot his name.
Kanzu against Jordan Gill. Ryan Garcia against Martin J. Ward. We're trying to look at that fight as well. You've got, I mean, it's never ending. So
good fights everywhere.
Yeah, so that's something that we're really looking at, and I think we'll get that for the new season. And we're also looking at sort of spin-off shows with DAZN, like documentaries and almost like inside the camp contender style Matchroom v Golden Boy, and it's really interesting
that
stuff.
really piqued my interest.
I just think that's what boxing needs, you know. But your best in your stable against the best in someone else's
stable. There's a few world titles on the line and everything.
Yeah, but that's to show really that the politics of boxing. Obviously, we're on the same platform, so it is easier. But it's a good promotion for the sport of boxing to say, look, here's two promotional companies. They're sticking all their best guys in together, and that's what we want. You know, I want to beat all Golden Boys guys, and it would be interesting programming. It would be a fun series because we'd both want to win so bad. And you know, you get Oscar prepping his fighters, us going into the camps, and you know, maybe we have some kind of big financial bonuses for the winning team and stuff like that. I don't know, but it's got legs, and DAZN love it, so something we're working on.
Finally, Bernard Hopkins came over to you and gave you the high praise and stuff like that. But he mentioned another thing that intrigued me as well. He mentioned that pay-per-view is dead. Where does that sit in the UK market when he says something like that?
I think it's difficult for me to, you know, DAZN's moniker is pay-per-view is dead. There has to be a clear understanding of the difference between pay-per-view in the US and pay-per-view in the UK. The price point. Pay-per-view in the US is between $80 and $100 a night.
Yeah.
We are $25. So if pay-per-view in the US was $25, it would be huge.
Yeah.
But it's not. So I can't come out. It's hard for me to come out and say pay-per-view is dead, because I do pay-per-view events in the UK. What I want to say is pay-per-view events with that price point are completely dead, in my opinion. You've just had Jacobs Canelo, and DAZN will release some stuff in the next sort of, I think, week or so on viewing numbers and stuff like that, because it's mad, like the intrigue in America. It's like, why don't DAZN release their numbers? So I don't know. I'm not DAZN. Like, well, there's something up there. So no, they don't do that. So I think now, because it was so successful, they had so many subscribers on Saturday. Now they've got a big subscriber base. It's time to sort of come out and say, right, this is what's happening. So, but when you look at the price point of DAZN, for example, Jacobs Canelo would have been $90 to $100 on HBO pay-per-view. It's $99 on DAZN for the entire year. So you've just had Jacobs Canelo, you've got Joshua coming up on June 1, got Golovkin the week after, you've got all our content in summer, but then you've got Canelo Golovkin in September. Then you've got Joshua's next fight. Then you've got Usyk v someone. Then you've got so like if you were buying the worst way scenarios, you're probably going to save yourself 4 pay-per-views a year, which is like $380. But now people who have paid their annual pass of $99 have just got 12 months worth of content on DAZN. So at what point are pay-per-views on other platforms going to go, and the fan's going to go $90 for a night.
Yeah.
It's 75 quid. I mean, it's a lot of money.
You do 4 pay-per-views a year here, so
yeah, I know. But
year.
we're really saying that it's $19.99 for a pay-per-view here. So the max we'll do in a year probably is 5. So it's probably going to cost you 100 quid a year in extra pay-per-view nights. Now that's fine if they're delivering, and we've been lucky, touch wood.
That's wood there, yes, but
yeah, where every pay-per-view we've done, probably in the last 2 or 3 years, we haven't had any stick for at the end of it. You know.
Oh, come.
So yeah, no, but we've got to be careful. You have to, you know, it's a big gamble for us every time we do a pay-per-view. People don't really realise that. Not just a gamble with the numbers, but a gamble to make sure that you enjoy it as fans. Because the worst thing that could happen to us is to do a shit pay-per-view, where you turn around at the end of it and go, that was a complete waste of money. I really feel for £19.95. That's tough to do because you can go out in Starbucks and spend 15 quid with a couple of coffees and a, you know,
croissant.
Yeah,
or whatever,
exactly.
yeah.
So, but we're always under pressure. That is probably the least enjoyable thing for me in a pay-per-view is the not just the nerves of the numbers, but the nerves of the response, because it matters more than any other show when you're asking people to pay extra. You know, don't forget if you're a Sky customer, and the same applies to Sky. You know, they're asking you to pay more, we're asking you to pay more, so we have to deliver the quality.
Yeah.
It's very important that at the end of the night on a pay-per-view, you turn off your remote control and you go, that was a good show, enjoyed that, fair play. It's like a film. You know, if you go and purchase a film on Netflix or on Sky Store, if it's shit, you say it was a fucking waste of money, can't believe I bought that.
Yeah.
But if it's a great film, you don't even think about the money. So we're content providers, and our content has to be superior to anybody else's, and you know, that's why we want to stack the cards. We want to make sure, you know, when you talk about Lomachenko against Campbell, is it a pay-per-view? Yes, I believe it is, with a big card. White against Rivas, yes, with a big card. You know, so we need to make sure that from top to bottom, and that's a big difference as well in America. They don't really tend to worry about a card on a pay-per-view. You know?
Yeah.
And I think that's something they've got to be careful of as well. I think the last 3 pay-per-views, certainly 2 pay-per-views on Showtime, Fox and Showtime, the away fighter or the B-side fighter didn't win 1 round in the entire card. I think either the Pacquiao-Broner card, I think Broner won a round or 2, but particularly on the Garcia-Spence card, the away fighter didn't win 1 round in the entire show. And they've got to be careful of that, you know.
Yeah.
I think the mentalities are very different. I'm seeing that promoters don't really invest that much in the undercard in the US, and I think that's a mistake because I think it's not educating the fans enough, and they don't really know when to turn up.
Who the next stars.
No, we want
like
we're finding now in our shows in the UK, people are turning up on the button and sitting there to watch all the fights, which is great, and they know all the fighters, they know who's on the card. In America, they sort of turn up and just wait for the main event and don't really realise who's on beneath. But
well, Ed, I think the press conference is about to
Okay,
start,
mate.
but before people wondering why
Yeah.
you're looking up at me,
Yeah,
I'm not,
I know,
I'm
yeah,
not
I know.
6 foot 8.
I know,
I'm
it makes a change,
I'm
doesn't it?
2 foot step,
Makes
which is
a
good.
change, yeah.
Nice and easy for me. Right, Eddie, thanks for this.
Okay,
Back on
mate,
TV.
cheers.
Catch you soon.